All right.
And here we are, everybody.
I've got the chills already. Freezing fucking cold. Oh, look at that. All that fucking wind.
Should try being down here in Florida.
Graham, how much do you miss this church right now?
Oh my God. Well, those stairs I really miss because I almost totally bit it every time I had to walk up and down them. Yeah, this church was so cold. There was no heat in there at all, and it was like frigid.
Yeah, but it looks so good. So I mean, what do we complain about?
It looks fantastic. And, Eric, you should tell them about the nuns that we interacted with while making this film at this church.
Yeah, so basically everyone that was involved behind the scenes at this church, whether it was the restoration company that owned the church or the nuns and the monks that were cloistered in the back, were under the assumption that we were making some sort of Christian documentary and or Christmas family film called Helping Hands. So I forget exactly. I had told them that we were making a narrative movie called Helping Hands, but then I had heard a couple of them talking amongst themselves at one point, and they referred to it as a documentary. So I'm not exactly sure what they thought we were doing, but they definitely did not think that we were doing what we did.
We bring them face to
Yeah, it was so it was so hard because they were so sweet and so nice, and then just to be bald-faced lying to them whenever they'd like bring us hot tea or something. Sorry, nuns. It was for the greater good.
Yeah, there was a second where I think a couple of them had come out to speak with us between takes, and I had gone over to the side and I was talking to one of them and said, "Oh, we're so happy that you're here. This is so magical, this, that." I think I turned back to the crew afterwards once they left the room and I said, "Well, I'm going to hell, so let's set it up for take number 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love that Graham thinks that this blasphemous movie is for the greater good.
Look at that turnout.
Look at that.
Good to see you, Irene.
Oh, man.
Love that, by the way. Love the sting.
Our wonderful extras. I think the second woman walking out right here, Lois, this is my wife, Addie. That's her aunt Lois. And then right here you have Hannah Dorian, our makeup artist, and her boyfriend, Christian.
I was so remiss I did not get to mention Hannah during our Q&A. I love Hannah. Hannah did such a great job on this film.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Taylor, you missed out on everything church related. You never got to go to this
I did
location.
not have to step foot in the church as is stated in my contract. I will not.
Yeah, what you also missed out on was me sleeping in a freezing church basement on a hard bench, just literally shivering. And I love the cold. And I was down there like in a fetal position for like 4 hours. It was great.
Yeah, I have a pretty great photo on my phone, which I wish I could share to the chat somehow. But I think we were setting up a shot. I went down to the basement below this place, and Jeremy was in wardrobe, sleeping on a pew that was in storage downstairs. And it's a pretty great photo. It felt like we really were living this movie in more ways than one.
Dude, I'm such a choir boy.
Dude.
I love Rigo just really like settles the tone right there too, because you have this sort of like very, like intense opening sermon, and then you just have the most soft-spoken voice following it up.
Excuse me, sir. Master
I know Jeremy misses that jacket though.
Sir, are you all right?
What? I miss the jacket. I don't miss the baggy pants and the doopy shoes.
Not missing the dad shoes.
Or the really scratchy undershirt that barely went over my belly. That was fun too.
Where did Eric Rumry, our location sound mixer, where did he have you wired up? Was it just like right underneath the hood, or was he all up in the undershirt?
No, he was all up in my chest scruffs.
That's where he likes to be. I know you had one on Graham's head at one point. It looked like a fucking Martian.
Yeah, he likes to go. I think he likes to go up the spine, through the hair, like you're like getting hooked up to some fucking futuristic mind reading machine.
Yeah, I felt like I had the pineal gland from beyond.
So this is where Graham almost bites it right here, because it was pure
God,
ice.
Time. It was pure ice, and I was wearing dress shoes, which already don't have any grip at all.
I think the only reason I had to cut from that shot to you being at the bottom of the stairs is because even though you sort of wanted the struggle of it being cold and icy out, it's like it was just so cold and so snowy and so icy. It looked too much like a struggle, and any of us trying to walk down the stairs would have had the same problem.
I love these
I want
jeans.
that
The
cinema
fit,
verite.
they're like I call that the Fred Durst fit of those light blue jeans.
Jacket from the Roland video.
Oh, come on. Unbelievable.
Whatever happens with that cell phone never really comes back into the movie, does it?
Yeah, no.
Well, he never pays his bill.
It was never on to begin with.
Yeah, I always thought that was a mistake. You the Chekhov's cell phone, it really has to come back in the third act, and you kind of missed the boat on that one.
This is the first time that Terry lies in the movie.
Hey, like I said, it's only like a 30-minute drive.
Do we take a shot every time he lies? Is that the Leech
Oh, God.
drinking game?
I'm already drinking straight tequila right now, so I'm down.
Why?
Mind if I do?
So this is we actually had Ramel hanging by a crane holding the camera for this shot. We slowly suspended him into the air. We couldn't afford a drone.
We
had
fitted
this-
him to 500 balloons.
Fucking some bozos down the street left the keys in a crane, and we just fired that bitch up and lifted him into the air.
Quick.
I don't know what's going on with her. It's like she's been extra hormonal lately, and it ain't the rag either, okay? A man just knows. It's like she's
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
do something.
How many different ways did you say that?
He probably picked the most culturally appropriate of my ad libs for menstruation.
Well, I think that, there were only a few of us in the car for the filming of this, and there were a lot of really great sort of off the cuff lines.
Oh, cool. So you got like both parts.
But that's
Yeah,
by
you-
far the best right there.
That's
You
the best
hand
one.
Jeremy a
Yeah.
script and he puts it into his mouth and spits it out and goes,
My brain
I
is a
think I got the gist.
NutriBullet, and so once you put in a script, it just blends it all up and comes out different. But I do ask beforehand, are you married to these words, or do you want me to fuck around with them?
I think he printed the script just to chew on the page and show me.
yeah.
You think I printed this script? I didn't even know what was going on until I got the sides every day.
Wow.
Oh, shit, stop. What the
So I've yet to be yelled at by Jeremy for having to kind of cut this scene the way that I did.
Yeah, I'm about to do that now. Yes, this was really fun because I was in the snow, and Eric thought it would be fun to scatter all of my belongings all over the lawn as per the script, but I had to pick them all up with my bare hands out of the snow, and I fell into trees. He was making me just do like Benny Hill shit, and then none of it's in there. You don't see me fall, you don't see me in the snow.
Drive you home.
It's that.
Yeah, this was really the first snowy day we had. We pretty much shot this movie in 3 weeks, and the first 2 weeks were bone dry, and we were pretty much all interiors, and we were kind of coming into this third week where all of our exteriors were scheduled, really not knowing if this was going to actually look like a snowy Christmas movie or if it was going to be mostly dry. And we really, really lucked out right here, especially during the sequence with a lot of the snow actually kind of consistently coming through.
I like a goddamn troll stuff. Really, what I think I missed my calling as a comedy punch-up artist for scripts. I think and Eric ends up going, God damn it, now I have to cut out. He thinks he has to make a joke every fucking line.
I love Graham's doe eyes in this shot. They're particular. Look at him. He's so innocent. He's so perfectly just
Please, I insist.
a good guy.
I'm really just trying to help.
He looks like a capybara out of his
He
element.
does look like a capybara.
I do have some capybara in me.
He's got big capybara energy.
Jeremy, you're like a ferret. Like
Yeah,
a
the
big,
fattest
long, lanky ferret.
ever. I think those are called weasels or badgers.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I got it.
So we can go ahead and
Didn't
kind of.
didn't they put like bowling balls into those trash bags for you?
Those were the worst fucking trash bags. It's like, here's 30 pounds of shit in garbage bags, but they each swing independently of each other. So you got to try to figure out a way to corral them all while also
I
being.
think I just gave you the
genius.
actual trash from the location to carry since we were already heading outside. I was like, go ahead and take this to the dumpster.
Hold on.
Fucking Janet Reno coming up here.
All hail. All hail, mama.
Mother.
So what were
What were
the,
some of the other?
it was
Yeah,
like
there was
either
some
Gerald
other
Ford
ad-libs.
or J. Edgar Hoover or something like that.
Egg on my
The bulldog.
Scott remembers more of them than I do.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
So this was Taylor and Jeremy's room for the extent of making this movie.
Is this where we talk about the thing?
We should probably explain what double beds are and why double beds are
This
important.
is where
in
we
a place
talk
like
about
this.
double bed.
It's in the closet if you need me.
Jeremy, why don't you let us to kind of fill us in on your escapade with trying to get any amount of sleep while in this room?
Well, I mean, I got plenty of sleep. It was more that I wanted extra sleep. So I figured the only way to get extra sleep was to have an extra bed. So I took a mattress out of like the holding room in the back of this house, and I drug it into my into that room and just stacked like a second mattress on top of the mattress, so that the bed was about 5.5 feet off the ground, and I called it double bed. So we could sleep really like closer to God, basically. You wanted to get as close to God as possible by elevating the bed. And it was probably great for everybody on set because they had to undouble bed my room every time they had to shoot in there.
The other problem with double bed was that so it was like a queen bed, and on top of that was a twin bed.
Yeah.
So really, it was only double bed for Jeremy.
Yeah, it was it was great when I was there, but when it was Tay and I both, I sometimes would be on the precipice of double bed, like back on the original mattress, while she was up on the tiny mattress above. It was really silly.
Graham, how comfortable with this was this bed for you?
This bed was terrible. This bed
It was definitely the loudest.
legitimately broke. So I was sleeping in sort of a canyon. We could call it the Graham Canyon.
The Graham Canyon.
The Graham Canyon.
Oh, I thought.
I almost made an absolutely terrible joke that I will just say I almost made.
You can tell me later.
All right.
Thank you.
This was actually Graham in the middle of production having to tell Jeremy to keep it down because he couldn't sleep. We just happened to have cameras rolling.
Yeah, this is actually a found footage movie.
As you can see there from my back fat, I really worked out to get in shape for this movie.
Could you please try to keep your music to a manageable level? It's
One of the
late
great
and-
things when Eric reached out to me about this role, I said, "Look, dude, you haven't seen me since before the pandemic, where I've just been eating cereal by the fistful for a year." I said, "I'm really not in peak shape," and he told me, "Don't worry, Terry thinks he's God's gift to everyone. He doesn't care, he doesn't care what he looks like. He thinks he's great." And that was actually really freeing for me, because I'm a self-conscious asshole because I'm an actor. But when you said that, I was like, oh shit, okay, fine. I'll just let it all hang out and really kind of lean into it. But if it had in any way stated objectively that I was attractive, I would have turned it down.
I think the only thing that I ever definitively said to you about Terry, I said, look, there's nothing that Terry isn't. There's nothing that like he won't try or isn't down for. So, you know, he can do whatever he wants. And I think also Graham and I were talking at one point. I can't remember if I said it, if he said it, was maybe it was someone else said this. And, you know, this movie is very body positive, and I like to think that it is.
And also,
Yeah, I
it's
agree with
funny.
that.
We're thinking about. I was talking about this the other day. The fact that he has you kind of insisted on a southern accent. I'm like, well, we're in Indiana. He has a southern accent. He also says like wicked all the time, which is like a northeastern thing, and it's just like kind of like plays into this subtle thing that he's like a man from nowhere, or maybe not a man at all. Maybe he's some kind of demon. I don't know what he is, but there's something very like juxtaposed about why this deep southern man is in these snowy wastelands using New England euphemisms.
Something.
He's a worldly traveler traveler. I like to imagine that he's been a few different places, and everywhere he goes, he sort of acquires something from the regional specificity.
Well, he
This
is a
is
leech after all. He sucks it up.
He's absorbing it all.
Like the blood of every place he goes to.
Well, congratulations.
There ain't nothing to celebrate. It wasn't planned. And on top of all that, I'm being evicted from my house. I just don't know where to turn or who to talk to. My family is about as useful as a shit-covered popsicle on a hot summer's day.
Well, what about your husband?
He ain't my husband. He's a loser, a bum. And I don't plan on telling him a single thing about this ever.
Well, surely he'll find out.
Not necessarily. I'm considering an abortion.
Life is a gift from God.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Oh
Talk
boy.
about timing,
Oh,
right?
boy.
Little timely, Eric. Little timely.
Well,
he can't help himself.
I've talked to multiple people about this. I said it's fucked up because I finished writing the script the day that
Under a
you know,
bridge.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, and then it premieres literally the night before some fucking fascist shit goes down. So
So you don't think that you had anything to do with that by making this absolutely blasphemous nightmare of a movie?
I'm just
Is
saying
that
none
what
of
you're
this would have
saying?
happened if Lexi could have
Choose life.
gotten her,
Thank you, Father.
abortion.
Perhaps one day we'll meet again.
God.
I think you can actually see Graham's breath right here too. There's a couple times where he does this.
I'm golden to church.
And you added all that digitally, right? All the
There
breaths.
is no digital breath. It's all real breath.
I know.
Well, I think because when they made The Exorcist, I think they froze those sets to like 20 degrees or something, so you could
Yeah.
intently see the breast. But we didn't have to
I mean,
do
it was
that because
about
most of
that
these
temperature for us.
yeah,
for
most of our interiors were about 20 degrees.
And equally like Friedkin, you smacked the shit out of Graham whenever you needed him to emote, right?
Oh, I had to pull
Yes.
Graham aside a couple times.
But I asked him for it. I wanted it.
Well, yeah, and he also said it wasn't anything about getting a certain emotion out of Graham. It was more just because he wanted to smack a priest in the face.
When I was typing this stuff, they had me really on Facebook, and I was logged into Scott, our producer's Facebook, and so I was just making constantly weird, fucked up, very strange posts for him while I was typing all this.
Now, are you as proficient a typist as you claim to be with that acting? Because there was
I
a lot
am.
of clickety clacketing there.
I am. I'm a pretty good typist.
This was the first thing we all shot together. This scene
Altogether,
This
yeah.
house was freezing too.
all together. Yes.
This was
house
this
was
is
so
a different
cold.
location than the main spot where we all were, and for some reason this house had zero heating in it.
Yeah, so no one's noticed it that's seen the movie, but this foyer is different than even earlier in the film where they turn the corner and they appear in the other.
Yeah,
the
you
living room.
really
This is a
cut
whole
that
different
together
place.
quite
So
beautifully
well.
because I remember being in those two separate houses going, this ain't that house. How that gonna be?
No one
Yeah,
believed me.
it works. It really works.
You know what I really love about this opening shot of the scene too is it's the really most prolific time you can see my burgeoning bald spot on the crown of my head. You really made sure that you got that get that in there too.
So let's not keep David any longer than we got to. I'm sure he's got plenty of church and writing stuff to do. Oh, Jesus Christ! Who the hell else is trying to sneak in here?
That's an awful lot of bags.
Yeah, well, she's an awful lot of woman.
Thanks again.
I think you lost a lot of the every time I do physical comedy you cut it out because I really made a big deal of dragging those suitcases up the stairs, dropping them, tripping, falling. No, it's fine in the movie.
It's
I
all
just-
there. Hey, you can hear it, you can see it. The point is
Can't-
made. What were some of the other lines? Because the one that's in the film is who else you trying to sneak in here?
For fear.
What was it like? Would you bring my bowling ball collection?
Yeah,
was
yeah,
one
yeah,
of them?
yeah. Something about bowling balls or something about a body in there. I don't remember. I think what I just heard it for the first time was just he's got a lot of churching to do.
It's just one of those lines, man. It's so good. This is how I checked on Graham every single night.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Jeremy, David Lawson wants to know if you had any ham steaks on this set.
Unfortunately, no, because we were kind of trapped in the bubble, so I didn't get to go to the local diner and get giant chunks of brown skilleted ham steaks, which is what Dave Lawson ate exclusively on the set of After Midnight.
It's fine. Good night now.
He's a real big. I mean, he says my life is ham steaks is the quote that we attribute most to Dave Lawson. But we don't need to give him that much time in this commentary. He's probably just eating a ham steak right now and laughing.
And the confusion's my fault too, because she thought I told you that she was gonna come over.
Terry, it's all right. It's all right.
Graham, I gotta say, like for the first half of this movie, you get a really I love that waving away the tears. You get a really thankless, kind of you have to like deal with the bigger personalities, and it really genuinely, I think, balances this all out, because it's like I said before, you cock an eyebrow and you can see so much in there, and then of course later on you get to go batshit insane. So you really kept my bullshit in check. I love the scratching of the belly there too.
You're very sweet. Thank you, Jeremy.
I would have been like, I don't want to be the boring guy.
We had our Foley team, this great Foley team we worked with in the Ukraine. I definitely had our mixer Sean Duffy turn up that belly scratch just a little bit louder than it should have been.
Hey, buddy. Morning. Come on.
Who's that guy?
It's Jeremy Gardner.
All very nice, but you didn't have to do this.
Yes, this breakfast that you all had to chow down on. How cold was that bacon?
Oh, don't worry about the bacon. It's all about the chicken that's coming soon.
Graham really got off easy. He never had to really eat it.
I never had to eat anything.
Well, I've always said Graham gets off easy. That's kind of his thing. It's just so
Very
quick.
easy to get him off.
It's in my special skills. I get off easy.
Yeah, look, David, we're real sorry about all that shit last night.
I know I shouldn't have barged in like that. It's just.
Hey.
I mean, isn't there a filmmaking rule? No kids, no dogs, no kids, no animals, no overly elaborate meals that you have to kind of keep track of the continuity of how much shit's been eaten. And you did it twice.
I feel like
That's why we shoot
I
it
feel like
tight.
Jeremy and Taylor in this movie have so much business that they constantly have to be doing in every scene.
Well,
Like,
busy
I'm
bodies.
pouring with this hand. I'm grabbing this piece of bacon. I'm eating this egg. I'm grabbing this chicken. I just get to sit there and look at them.
Yeah, I'm packing a bunch of shit into garbage bags in a snowy lawn that nothing is even and then it's gone.
I don't have anywhere else.
It's all right. Let's see. I understand your pain and frustration.
I love this.
And you're right. I am.
I love that ponytail whip that's like over the top.
You really only see Taylor had these great emoji
However,
pajama pants that you really only saw when she walked into the wide shop. I was very insistent with our wardrobe designer, Greg Gordon, that we just have these emoji sweatpants that were pajama
also
pants. It's one of the first
faced
visuals I had.
Sword battle against me, seeing them and going, no. And then, you know what? He won, so.
Also, our Christmas Eve midnight mass is.
It was either supposed to be, I think in the script, it either said emoji pajama pants or Angry Bird pajama pants.
Yes.
Let go and
Or Cookie Monster.
let God.
But those would have been trademark infringement.
Yeah. Emojis are a toss up.
If you're
I
willing
don't know
to
who
open
owns the
yourself
emoji.
to him,
The world owns emojis.
I'm willing
Eric.
to open my door to you.
I read that on a bumper sticker once, guys.
Well, hot damn,
Is that where that came from?
Let go and let God, yeah.
Sign us up.
Oh, I thought the bumper sticker was the world owns emojis.
Terry, it's all right. This is Rigo, our church pianist.
Oh my God.
Whoops. Sorry about that.
Oh, Terry, please remember.
Oh hell no.
Speaking of someone who absolutely destroys without getting the opportunity to be an asshole like me, Rigo just crushes it with his eyes and his fucking expressions in this movie.
Alcohol till after dinner?
Yeah, but between Rigo and Graham, they just, the representatives of the faith just have these, glossy, saucery eyes.
Yeah, I'm like a Jim Carrey, and they're both like Mark Rylance.
That's so sweet.
Let's go upstairs.
So for some reason, I
it's so
didn't get to lick
uncomfortable. I love it
everyone's
so much.
face during that. I thought that would have been a good move, but maybe
Did we shoot one of you licking their face?
Who are those people back
I'll never tell.
Well, we should mention that
We just rehearsed
that
that.
fur coat that Taylor was wearing. It was real rabbit's fur, and it stank like a bowling alley from 1978.
I didn't know that. I am in protest of
It
this
was
film.
thrifted. It was thrifted.
been living here, Father?
It's not a
I only
place,
like
it's
dog fur.
the house. It's my house. And you'd know if you'd read my post. The other
I feel
day
like
that
when
Jesus often broke
I was
Satan's
thinking
laws
about,
to
like,
help
you know,
others.
Scott and I sort of set dressed a lot of this place before you guys got there. And one thing I was telling Scott, I said, like, whatever the shot is, I just need like a crucifix always to be behind David, especially like the way you watch like Apocalypse Now, and there's always helicopters in the background. Is always looking for a moment to have a crucifix just looming over someone's shoulder.
I love this so
and
much.
this, arguably the best part of the movie right here. Trigo, you sell this so good. It's great.
He has so much confidence in him too. It's like he has no idea.
I need this isolated and used as a of my ringtone. I need it as a ringtone. That right there.
Everyone should be excited to know when this Arrow Blu-ray comes out. We did film a music video on mini DV that will be included on the disc. We're trying to bring back the notion that there were music videos once associated with movies.
Oh God. I'm sorry.
Hey, David, whoa, hold on, man. Hold on. Sorry about that. I just thought I'd, crank one out while Lexi was away.
It's fine. It's all right. I just needed you to turn down the music.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal because it was the middle of the day and all.
It isn't. It's totally fine. Just Rigo and
Pull it off, Jeremy.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, no, I can pull it out.
there is a take where you see more than that. I think the timing between the door closing or something was off, and that was sort of the.
So what we haven't
best one
talked
overall.
about with that shot is that I was standing in an actual fucking window, just hoping that nobody walked by outside the whole time.
The few daytime scenes that we shoot is definitely rush hour on that busy street outside the house too.
The devil don't know my name. So there was another song I sang. I can't remember what it was. Was I just doing?
It's
like,
right
weird
here. You
sounds?
hear it right here off camera.
The store?
thank you.
Because that whole like operatic thing was a different take that I.
Oh yeah, I was just
kinda
doing
spliced
like
the two
more like
together.
vocal sounds, not an actual song.
Father, we can always record at my place, right?
It's all right, Rigo. This house is for everyone.
Now get the fuck out.
Poor Rigo. Rigo knows what's up right away.
Here comes more breath. 20-degree set.
There's a romance there.
Yeah, it started in a truck stop bathroom, as we find out later.
Voice of an angel.
Hey, man. Listen,
I just love how, Jeremy, how you're just laughing already. Like you were probably thinking of something prior to even knocking on the door, and you're just already.
I
going.
think I might have genuinely been laughing at fuck ton of chicken, like right as it came into my head.
that sounds like she had a real good day. And, well, those ain't too easy to come by lately. I don't know, something like family dinner.
I mean, I have to admit to probably being the one person who starts to laugh before they say something because I'm that amused by my own fucking jokes half the time.
So this was like the second. This is the first night we were all together, and this was the first setup we had when we came back to the house. Because you're all, I know, we're gonna talk about the chicken. And everyone thinks the chicken was 5 hours old. I think it started off at 3 hours old. Now it's 5 hours old. It was like we'd have been there for maybe 80 minutes. About the runtime of the movie.
Let's just all acknowledge the fact that no one takes a big old bite of coleslaw because you don't want that mayonnaise shit that's sitting out.
It's not about how old the chicken was. It was about how much was underneath my nails.
Yeah.
So I specifically went to this nail stylist and I was like, can you just give me the nastiest nails possible? And she did, and she did great, and she was super excited about it. And I was pulling chicken out of these nails for so long.
necessarily.
And
It's
there is also something that did not make the cut of just
opening
shots
flow
of
on a
my nails
but
just
solid
digging into chicken breast
physical attendance
flesh
to natural
and
fluctuation.
putting it in
This
my
allows us to reach
mouth. And
people
it,
at
so
home
I'm a little traumatized.
That's what we call Southern oysters.
Oh, here's that's my favorite right there, where I don't know what a breast and a wing connected is. I'm just looking at it like, what the fuck is this? But I will say that this is where someone like me, who heard probably when they were 16 years old that Marlon Brando dropped a glove and on the waterfront and picked it up and played with it, and that was like suddenly amazing acting. So when you give me shit to play with, I just try to over Brando everything. So Graham's sitting there acting, and I'm going, look at all this shit I can play with. I can break this chicken up. I can throw French fry. And so yeah, the problem with me is I actually like busy work, but it's a little obvious in this one.
Well, I've tried to give you lots of busy work in this one.
Yeah, well.
More room for it.
You literally spread out a table with a bunch of old food, and I was like, get ready, motherfuckers. If you had done one more take, Graham would have had mashed potatoes on his head.
I was prepared for that. I figured that at some point I was going to get something that was going to hit my face.
Jesus. What I also love is that I clearly wiped chicken grease on that undershirt 4 or 5 times, and did anyone ever wash that?
There's a great
I
don't think anything ever got washed.
No.
Not a single thing was washed. This whole, not a body, not a hand, just kidding. We were in a bubble, so lots of hands were washed, but not a body, not any clothes.
Wasn't that a first edition of Twilight, actually, that book?
Yeah, that was the author's personal manuscript.
They're about loving one another.
I just love that when I pick up that gigantic Bible, it's almost like it's like a cartoon. It's like it's right there next to me, and nobody's seen this huge thing until
You don't
now.
even lean over for it; it just comes up.
Relationships dissolve far too
I
often
summon it.
because the focus lies merely on one another. But when we fall in love with
It's called suspension of
Yeah,
disbelief.
Jeremy gets a lot of busy work. I get these huge monologues.
thus allowing ourselves to attain more stable and peaceful.
That's how an actor who is vying for time battles someone with more lines. They just do more shit with their hands.
Chapter 13.
Oh, you got more words? Well, how about this?
Jeremy, were
Yes,
you
Jeremy, he's
were
just
you
juggling
barefoot?
pieces of chicken.
Were you barefoot through other scenes? I actually can't remember if it was ever in the script and we talked about that you were barefoot or if you were supposed to have shoes on and you just kicked them off. I don't remember.
I don't necessarily remember, but I do know for a fact that I oftentimes, and other filmmakers I've worked with will attest to this, I will often go to the director before we shoot a scene and go, does he need to have that coat on? Does he need to have this on? Because it's just the less shit I have to fucking put on is easier. So I will try to make it as a character thing, but really it's just like, I don't want to put all this shit on right now.
Or funny about pregnant women getting ripped open.
No one's saying there
You
isn't.
know what? I got an idea. How about we have a drink? Lighten the mood a little bit. Come on, David. It's way past the dinner bell.
I shouldn't.
Oh, come on now. Look, listen. We did your thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had Bible study time. Now you do our thing. There's a give and take. Just one drink. And we'll call it square. All right, look, you can bless it if you have to.
You know, he ain't gonna stop till you say yeah.
She's right.
I think that's what attracted me to him in the first place. He's like this big, wet dog that you just want to take inside and towel off.
Well, I guess you were a bit of a stray pussy when I found you.
Oh, what'd you just call me?
Hey, come on, baby. I'm just playing around. You know you're the finest woman I ever did meet.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Crystal Peters.
Who the hell is Crystal Peters?
No, I told you about Crystal Peters. I told you like 5 times. You never listened to me. Crystal Peters was the first girl I kissed. It was 5th grade.
All right.
Truth or Dare behind J.T. Whitwall's house. David, I swear to God, sometimes I still taste that girl.
I love Truth or Dare, but my favorite was always Never Have I Ever.
Never have I ever what?
Never Have I Ever. It's where you take turns saying stuff you never done, and if they've done it, then they have to drink. That's how I found out at Thanksgiving that my Uncle Begus eats ass.
Oh,
There we go.
shout out to Uncle Begus.
Thank you, Uncle Begus.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Uncle Begus, for eating all the ass.
I'll play.
Had to do that take a couple times just to get the last name pronunciation right.
Yeah.
Really, I should be getting to my work for the evening.
Oh, David, come on. You can play with wine.
I really shouldn't.
Come on, David. Look, you're already drinking. Don't leave me alone at the kids' table.
Are you sure you want to be doing that?
Whoa. Don't.
What the hell does that
Hey,
mean?
don't challenge her, buddy. She'll drink us both under the table.
Watch.
Look what you did. I told you.
Graham's face at that moment.
Still think I can't hang?
That's not what I meant.
You just watched someone shit in the house.
Trying to
Look, let David. Now, you got plenty of time to work on your big speech for Saturday, okay? Just gonna have a couple drinks with us. A few laughs.
Oh,
Play a few rounds.
this is just so horrible. Just every bad decision.
Come on, Dave.
This is
Oh,
really,
mama.
and this is the first music cue that our composer Eric Romery came up with. He definitely took on the hardest and the longest one first.
There we go.
Name your
That's
sex
what
tape.
I'm talking about. Woo! Let's go.
All right. I'll get us started. Never have I ever rang a doorbell. And since we have all rang a doorbell, we all
Should we all actually play this right now?
Yeah,
let's
let's play. I was telling people in the chat that there is a drinking game built into the movie, but maybe some other time we'll sort of devise even a better drinking game. But this one works for now, or just drink every time they drink.
Down the hatch.
I played a drinking game with Deadwood one time, and by the halfway through the first episode, I died.
Never have I ever played Never Have I Ever.
Okay, baby, we get it. We got it now.
Never have I ever fallen out of a tree.
Any of y'all falling out of a tree?
Yes, very dramatically.
Oh yeah, I
actually.
broke my ankle.
Raccoon.
I have been bitten by a raccoon, so I'm drinking.
Well, because Graham famously had a pet
This
raccoon.
thing came flying out of this dumpster. Never have I ever been sent to the principal's office, actually.
Ooh,
David,
big bad boy David.
troublemaker. Your turn.
Never have I ever missed mass on Sunday.
Well, you got me there.
I don't think we should be playing this.
I remember mixing this with Sean.
I'm very busy drinking.
Have I ever?
Mixing this with Sean Duffy, I think there were two things that he cracked up with: is Graham's answer there, and then Terry saying it smells like cat piss at the beginning.
Oh, I probably have.
The
Your
fuck
turn,
is
Terry.
one?
Wait, what smells like cat piss?
When he said, "Oh, it smells like cat piss," the stereo at the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
He said that got him every time, and then Graham's answer.
Never have I ever been kicked out of a club.
This
What the fuck ain't
It was a club with
Kicked out
guys.
of the shit on Valentine's Day.
Oh shit, I
Yeah,
forgot.
We could also talk about how Jeremy's blood was boiling at the notion that people in the Midwest call the strip club the Tit. He just couldn't understand why we would call it the Tit.
Time ago.
I don't remember that.
Wait, I thought that the Tit was the
you
name
got
of the
so
club.
mad. No. It's a non-named strip club. We just call them the Tit.
It's like,
If you're-
I wasn't mad. I think I was confused. I think it was
Just
like
like
we
a
got thrown out of the
colloquial
tit.
term
I
for
didn't
strip
know
club
it
is
was
a
a
tit?
colloquial. Yeah.
So Scott and I did a commentary, and we both have very specific memories of certain regionally specific phrases or lines that we used in this movie that you couldn't wrap your head
Wow.
around or were given a shit
Well,
about.
because I'm a simple
Interesting.
Floridian boy.
I thought,
Down
I
here
thought it
we
was
call
a
it
reference
the
to
gator.
irreversible, but instead of the cock, it's the tit.
That could be, that works too.
Like a police officer, and I put on this bandit's costume, and my hands are cupped.
This is,
We call it cock.
I love that so much. That gets me every time.
Look at you! You drinking when you didn't even have to. Oh, I knew.
Jeremy, you
had to do
notice
that.
the tighter and the tighter this scene gets, the more that doorknob behind you disappears. It was a constant. I cut together the making of. We have this 15-minute making of doc that'll be on the disc, and there's a great moment where we're all trying to figure out how to hide the doorknob behind the couch. And Jeremy said something to the effect of, "Just stack it on 15 fucking books."
Yeah, we had that couch. That couch was literally all four legs of that couch were on like 5 books each.
It's like a ride at Universal at a certain point.
We were literally just trying to raise the couch to hide the
I
doorknob.
feel like she's sitting here with us, just judging me. She's too big.
Also, should be. I remember when Jeremy said, "This painting is a perfect blowjob height."
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, I should
I'm
have.
surprised that didn't somehow make it into the movie.
I
during that
did do that during
horrible
the
final
freak
second.
out later on. I definitely was like, I think I was
Yeah, it's
thrusting in her
it's
face.
in there later, but I think it was a comment you made when you first came on set and saw the place.
Well, because it's a very weird spot for a painting.
What was actually in that very particular spot, like before you put the painting
I
there?
kid you not, nothing was there. And when Scott and I looked at the location, we were figuring out where the centerpiece would be because we knew we wanted it to be present in this scene. It's almost like this location was made for this movie. It was.
Isn't it weird how
it
things
was
like
already
that-
the perfect width. We had already had the painting framed and we hung it there. And we are like, holy shit, it's like she's sitting with you.
that is strange because it's, you know, that probably, I don't know, but it probably changed the way you were framing your shots, because if the painting had been high or at normal level, you probably would have had to go wider on a lot of stuff to incorporate it, right? Or am I wrong?
I think it was always by design that the scene would get tighter, but definitely I think I probably imagined it over your traditional sort of craftsman house, like mantle place or something like that. So you could probably swing the camera up and come back down, but the fact that it's right there just, I don't know,
is weird.
It just worked too. It felt like we were meant to be there.
Far too much.
It is crazy because like Lexi and Terry are whatever, but Graham goes from teetotaler like to, I guess I'll fucking do everything in 1 hour.
Well, he's been really repressed.
No smoking in the house, please.
It's only vapor. You want
This is what really got me fucked up, was because it was like some tobacco thing in there, which I'm not used to.
Well, I remember because we made this during COVID, like part of our compliance, he was like, okay, well, we've got to get 2 of those, and she can only, the one that goes in Graham's mouth can't be the one that goes in Taylor's mouth, but somehow we got lipstick on Graham's. Graham, did we put lipstick on you to get that? Because that's a different one right there. It's the old Texas
no,
lip.
you put lipstick on the
hide it in my hand.
on the actual thing, on the device.
Okay.
Yeah, I've said it before, but this was one of the most like complicated scenes to film because 3 different glasses, you're filling them and refilling them every line, and then when you cut, you have to try to get back to that continuity. So there was so many moving parts to this, and a seduction and a comedy and all these lines, and it was just like, I remember feeling like I was less connected emotionally because I was overwhelmed by like the fucking nuts and bolts of trying to remember like what needed to be where and when.
13 pages is the only thing we did that night.
Yeah, this was a monster scene.
Yeah.
See, when I do 13
really
pages,
well,
I just do it in 1 take.
Okay. I will say.
What was the thing about? Didn't y'all have to do something funky with the lamp to get that effect behind?
Yeah,
Taylor
we've
there
got
on the wall?
Scott and Luke. It's one of those like Tiffany chandeliers, and they're off camera spinning it around, but it wasn't threaded quite easy enough to keep it continuously spinning.
I think it works though. It's all very like strange. You just don't exactly know what's going on.
Oh, I know what's going on. About to get to the good shit.
There we go.
So that
Now
was
we're talking.
interesting.
That was interesting.
I don't know how much we should talk about that because this is my wife, right? So this is my wife. So she has her hands in my pants, and you're like, how do I shut off that biological reaction?
It was honestly,
know how.
it was a great experience because it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, like in front of a camera.
It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
There you go. There you
No,
go.
but
It was very hard to be intimate. This was my first time ever on camera being intimate, and it was very hard for me. It was very enlightening.
well, so that's interesting because so what I mean is that like I've been in intimate situations when you're not like you're my wife. So, but when all of the intimacy and all of the like actual like the pleasure is completely taken away when you're in a scene with somebody that you don't know or that you aren't close with. It was you, so my body was like, no, you're supposed to enjoy this. So it was very strange. It was a very strange sensation.
Meanwhile,
Well, and it was also.
I had to have like a, hey, look at me. We have to finish the scene. Just do the thing.
And I was like, okay, but when we're done, can we?
What was extra weird was you said, when we're done, can we, continue this? And Graham, can you also still be watching?
Yeah, I'm gonna need
Also,
you
here
there.
we go. Found footage.
This is where Graham found them later that night.
This is more
Yeah, this is just
tasteful than I
BTS.
thought it would be, too. By the way,
I mean too.
that dildo did not flop around. Now, was there a reason you cut around the real
Absolute
floppy
size
dildo?
of that thing.
Wait, well, you saw it come up over the shoulder.
No, I remember it just being real greasy and big and floppy, but maybe that's because my point of view was from where I was.
Can I be crass? Can I mention That was also me teaching literally everyone on set how a strap-on works, because they got me this whole harness and they're like, yeah, but the thing doesn't fit. And I was like, yes, it does. This is how you attach it.
Well, I've already given Scott shit on the other commentary because the first thing he showed up was with this dinky little like 3-inch purple one. And I said, Jesus Christ, Scott, take this back to the store and get me something that's worth filming.
Jesus Christ, Scott.
Terry won't even feel that.
The right way. I was pretty sloshed myself.
This toenail paint was on my toenails, for, I believe, for 11 months.
You should get something.
It's still there? You haven't trimmed your toenails yet?
No, it's gone now. It's been more than 11 months.
Pure today.
Actually, I got a call back from Penguin Point.
Taylor, I gotta say, I just love what you and Hannah just did. With the makeup and the hair here is so good.
Oh yeah, you look like a reptile in a good way.
Thank you.
You know I love reptiles.
No, I that was the compliment. Graham's just, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here.
Terrible at painting toes though. Love you.
Yeah, that's a pretty rough nail job.
Oh,
Sorry.
look,
that painting was really low too.
It's the town of low paintings.
That's the name of my new album. It's terrible.
Did y'all just hear that thunder, by the way? Could y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, you about to get sucked up by a twister over there, Graham?
I mean, I might be. It's an intense situation happening outside my house right now.
One of us is going to get struck by lightning during this commentary.
We can only hope.
That was one of the nuns that ran by.
What are they doing?
She didn't want to be in the shot, so she ran by quick.
I cannot. So whenever I see that shot, I think of Eric lying between the doors, like in those overalls that you had, and you were closing them. I have a picture of it somewhere.
Yeah, I wish I could upload some photos to the chat for this, but basically, first of all, I was the only one dressed for winter on this entire crew. I had this tan Michael Myers style Carhartt over sort of like oversuit thing on, and I'm laying down on the ground, starfish, trying to release sandbags from those doors and slam them shut so that they hit close at the same time.
Well, it's just me here.
Look at this fucking drip Rigo has.
All right, well, you still down for tonight?
This drip? What does that mean?
Okay, so
I'm old. Explain it.
so
Taylor,
his
fill 'em
chain,
in.
like his chain, that would be considered drip.
Oh, like all the baseball players wear that I like?
Sometimes,
They
yeah.
have drip?
Wait, that's called a drip?
No, it's well, drip is more complex, but
It's
but
more the
that's part of
overall
it.
vibe. Like, yo, this.
Do you wear drip at a tit?
I got some drip, but
Good.
it's because my pee doesn't stop when I'm done now. Because
Oh
I'm
my
old.
god, yeah, you're all old.
I'm dripping.
Eric, we gotta get out of here. Rigo, I can't imagine you gotta get out of here.
I love this here. This is where the magical beer.
David, hey! Guess you're down for beer, brother?
No. No more drinking from here on out. And for the last time, no smoke.
What?
No smoking inside.
No smoking in the house. No fun, David.
No more heavy metal music.
This
Thank you for giving me a Bible to cover up my gut.
Kind, you understand?
I just feel like the sequence of the movie is where Terry just looks the most absolutely like feral and out of this world.
Well, why? Because he's shirtless with a giant Bible, smoking a cigarette, barefoot,
No, just like-
drinking a beer in a church house.
Just even your posture through the next couple of shots was so great.
Now clean up this mess. Gather whatever booze you have left.
Oh yeah, this is when I had to dump all my shit.
No.
And it's not?
No.
I love the realization of like, wait,
We
what's
haven't
going
even burned
on?
our clothes.
Yeah, it is. No, yeah. I've dumped all my
you're
my
right.
beer and my.
And the cocaine.
And the cocaine, yes.
Classic cocaine and the New Balance.
Was there? So I can't remember from the first. I missed this kind of in the first one. Do I have both bags or just one in this? In the
Yeah,
cut?
you just have one. Yeah, this is one of those scenes where I kind of had to really
like
go from being
enough's enough.
director to editor and just kind of like keep the pace of the momentum, especially when you're using Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, because the scene could go on forever. And it was very funny the places in which cocaine kept appearing from. It was like a fucking David Copperfield trick.
Better now?
Yeah, so he let me run wild a little bit in that. So I like at one point I said, "What if I have a second bag in my other shoe?" And then I had to take that one out, and then I tried to jam my hand in the sink and pull it out, and it was fun.
Pulling one out from behind Graham's ear.
It's like he's like, all right, it's down. Like he's gonna go back in and scrape it out later, as long as he doesn't wash it all the way.
Oh shit! Hey, meant to give this back to you.
I think this was I think did I add the we laid together, like the biblical term?
Yeah,
I think that was you, Jeremy. Yeah.
This is definitely where I lost my mom. this is definitely where it's been a bit of a slow road back to
one of the things I love most about this is how absolutely casually he's like, oh no, you left it after we fucked. Like it's like literally nothing to it.
Chaotic bisexuals. I love it.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice review we got.
Sodom and Gomorrah, a little more.
You really don't remember? God. Hey, wait, whoa, hey, you all right, David? You okay, bud? You don't look so good.
I think this was the very last thing that we filmed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty near the end there.
Well, it's one of the last things we filmed with you and Jeremy, because basically the way we shot this is that we shot everything. So Taylor left first, then we shot everything with the other three. So then Jeremy left, and then we got down to basically just the scenes with Rigo and Graham.
I'm a priest, Terry.
Man, gonna tell me. Everybody takes it in the rear sooner or later.
I love that line so much. Just a basic fact of life.
It just happens.
You came into our room all horned up after we put you to bed. Seemed like a good idea. We were all pretty twisted.
By the way, Graham's puke noises are just above everyone else's. That's what it sounds like, and he does so good. Oh, I
love the drip.
Is that the drip? Is that what the drip
Jeremy,
is?
was
Definitely not the drip.
that whole bit with the spoon was I can't remember where that even came from. Is that an actual family recipe you know about?
Yeah. It was you take a like a mug of water with a spoon in it, and you put the handle against your nose, and you drink it upside down. It's fucking stupid, but like so many people I know in the South do that. Oh yeah, he's got to get like a spoon, and you balance the spoon handle against your nose as you kind of invertedly drink it, which is absurd. It's just to get you to stop thinking about it, really.
Look at how his sweet capybara face has gone to that of an angry, angry koala.
There he's fucking with the breakers. So this is Scott and Hannah wearing Jeremy and Taylor's clothes because they had both left by this point in the movie. And all right.
Remember, I was trying to channel Donald Sutherland in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That face at the end.
That face.
Who did the actual chopping of the inserts there?
That was all Graham.
No, I wasn't chopping on the inserts.
No, the actual close-ups of the wood splitting.
No, what we had done is we had pre-split them. So really, it was me on a couple of them. All I had to really do was like hit roughly the split line, and then it would look like you were actually splitting
Eric,
the wood.
This is where you go, I'm super boss at splitting wood.
This is where I go that I'm Ryan Reynolds in the Amityville remake, and I'm just chopping wood left and right.
Lexi got the job, man. We're celebrating. Come on, dance.
What is this music?
This is basically one of my favorite rappers from Marion, Indiana, named C Mob, and the song was just so perfect for this moment.
It's really perfect.
Honestly, I think David's the problem here. We Lexi and Terry are open. They like heavy metal. They like rap. They're like they're open to different sexuality and sexual encounters.
They're my kind of people.
There are kind of people. You're the problem, David.
Jeremy, I gotta say, I do think it was your idea for this scene and this scene here to not have a shirt on underneath the jacket.
It was. I told you I always find a way to have less clothes on.
Which is such a weird show. I mean, I remember when we made Sadistic Intentions, you hated that vest that you had to wear, but like idea to have a t-shirt off underneath the jacket.
Well, it's also because it's also because for me, for some reason, when I have a character who has the same stuff on all the time, I try to find ways, like different ways into into a moment. And I'm like, if I feel like stagnant in the same wardrobe, I'm like, what can I do to change it up here? And this was like, oh yeah, he would kind of just throw this on to walk outside to get something real quick, and then like that's how it is. Joe Bigos gave me a lot of shit on the last movie I shot with him too, because I was like, should he really have this on? Should he have that on? Should he have that on? He's like, well, the other fucking guys have it on. Why shouldn't you?
I love that you put the sweater on over the jacket. That's my favorite part of the scene.
He looks like you're wearing a sumo outfit.
Wait,
at
did
that
I
point.
put it on over
You
the
put the
jacket?
sweater on over the jacket.
That's funny. That's funny.
The Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you will give him the name Jesus, and he will be a savior to his people. So you see, Mary and Joseph stuck it out for the future of their child, our savior. We never know what the unborn have in store for us, much less.
I actually don't know. Can priests marry?
No, pastors
Catholic
can.
priests.
Pastors
Priests
can,
cannot. No.
Concern over the world in which it enters. And so have you two considered?
Can demons marry?
I mean, we're
Oh,
married.
demons can marry. Well, I mean, Taylor married you.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Who's the demon?
Yeah, which one's the demon? The answer is both of us. Motherfucker.
A double demon needs a double bed.
Marriage
Double demon, double
is
bed.
our most sacred union. A strong, healthy partnership is needed.
I had the best time filming this because I was trying very hard to not look at Graham because character, but also could not stop looking at Graham because audience. It was just so compelling.
Max purposes.
I do love the fact that the more you watch this movie, you do realize how often the characters oscillate between awful and then sympathetic or childish or simple or fucking aggressive
There's a lot of
and
victim,
bullyish.
Victor.
Like at this point, like right now, Terry's like a little baby.
I mean, ever since the garden, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did a whole lot of takes where we ended this by both of us saying the Lord's Prayer
kissing.
together.
Oh yeah.
But then
Basically,
there was the one take where it just kept rolling, and eventually Jeremy and I just made out.
Yeah, we
First
just
cut,
started kissing.
the first cut of this movie
was
is
a
2 hours
proponent of
long,
that.
and they definitely end the scene with kissing each other.
Yeah, we just kept getting closer and closer and closer. And I was like, we should just kiss. Let's just do
It
it.
finally just made sense. I mean,
It did.
I super agree. Maybe that's just for my own personal
No, well,
gains.
I mean,
but
I
maybe
can-
I think
I can imagine, like story-wise, it might have given away too much too early,
For
maybe.
sure,
But it felt right in the moment.
oh, it felt really right.
oh, 0 people read.
It's like, you know how
Looking
hard
like
it is
my
to
Facebook
reach
before I
0
deleted it.
people. You cannot try and reach 40 people.
Oh, here we go. Mama.
Ay, caramba. This was a crazy night.
Mother. It's a great look.
When I was watching this with my wife, when that crash happened, she went, "Oh no, Mama."
No, I think I probably went too far in this too, because I remember trying to explain how we pick up glass. Like if it breaks at home, you take a piece. I think I remember like, get a piece of bread and you just smush down. And you can get all the shards of glass up.
This is just one of my favorite moments of Terry really trying his hardest to clean up the mess. It's a fucking mason jar.
You put Mama in this.
You put Mama in
It
there.
was so frustrating because I'm trying my best to cry and be absolutely terrified and devastated. And also another shout out to Scott. Scott's like on the sidelines, like every time we're taking out a take, he's like, okay. He's like being like a great hype man for this scene. And then you two are just being, well, not you two. You, Jeremy, are just being a silly little bean.
I'm an asshole. What can I say?
No, Taylor. I mean, you definitely.
That got a big laugh. I had such a big laugh when I saw that the other day. Him sleeping with the jar in his hand.
You got company
Oh, David's
downstairs.
looks better.
Yoink.
Just gonna take this.
Yeah, that was the script. But as soon as I opened the door and I saw it sitting there, I'm like, you think Terry's not gonna take this fucking bottle?
Oh, this is my
So
martini.
awful about last night, you know.
This is a great review. Oh, yeah, this is Taylor's last.
This was the last scene we shot with you. Yeah.
So this is I love this. Your reveal of Rigo sitting there getting covered, but like I was throwing so much fucking tinsel on poor Rigo the whole time.
I know.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
It's so good.
It reminds me how hard I worked to get what he just did in a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rigo's look right there is so perfect.
It's you.
Full of seething hatred.
Posts and the drinking and just
You mean
everything.
posts you've yet to
I don't
share?
know what to make of all of it.
Or is this your comment?
I don't like what they imply.
I love how you edited this, Eric, where it's overlapping like this.
That is how his
Yeah, this was one of these scenes. I don't know. The scene went through a lot of different iterations, and I think those two things you guys say, whatever that last line was, that overlaps. It was strange. I was like, God, they time out kind of perfectly on top of each other. But I had never thought of this scene as that. But it makes so much sense that you're going off on your own tangent, asking him, he's talking, you're not listening.
Rigo, pray for forgiveness. You know what? Forget it. Just leave. Our congregation will do just fine without you.
What congregation? Man, I don't know if you noticed, but nobody has stepped foot in that motherfucker for weeks. All right? You're up there talking to imaginary people. Yo, there's nobody there. It's just me.
If defying your people is what you choose to do, then so be it. God doesn't need you, and neither do I. Music's a distraction anyway. Pray that you may know his message.
His message. You've twisted his message around so much that you don't even know what it means anymore.
Leave!
I'm getting caught up in Rigo's acting. I'm like, can't talk.
This whole fucking scene, I'm so happy.
It's a great scene.
You guys just killed it.
Yeah, it's like I'm reminded of like
Rigo.
Bug, like where there's like one like her Ashley Judd's friend is just like the only one who's like, do you even fucking have any idea what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they're like,
I
blah,
love
blah,
that
blah,
part.
I must tend to my church.
Two different locations. That shot to the
yeah,
reverse.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
You were on a
that
board.
It's amazing. Yeah, I was on a board that was like suspended over a couple of chairs.
That little Santa toy, by the way, was like the climb the ladder Santa, and it just kept going me on one rung of the ladder. So I just put my hand under to give him like a boost, but he never moved.
And poor Romery was trying to record sound, and he was like, "Is there any way to turn this Santa off?" We're like, "Nope."
Nope. It is still in the mix, but by the time, I don't know, Sean Duffy worked wonders on it. The music helps out a lot, and but it is there. It's crazy. So this pattern you see on this grate. So I don't know if any of you noticed, but the house that we shot the exteriors at and the foyer had this exact same grate as part of a back door that we never filmed, but I realized.
Oh,
after
weird.
passing
I never
through
knew
it.
that.
I touched the material. It's the same like flimsy aluminum. It's bronze color, but it has that same pattern, and it was literally built in to this door at this house you see right here in the back.
Well, I mean, that's a historical Fort Wayne, Indiana architect, Crossy McHashback.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Baby David's back. Listen, we gotta talk, man.
Not now.
No, it's real important. It's about Lexi. She's
I'm pregnant.
That's such a great delivery. I'm pregnant.
Well, of course you are.
This is one of the lines that Jeremy got on me about.
What?
David, there's a chance it's yours, man.
Oh, popped off in her?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was
Okay,
so many.
so I mean, I don't know, popped off. I thought it worked. I did go with popped off, but you had squeezed the cheese.
Yeah, I think we both squeezed the cheese on her.
Cheese. Oh, that's right.
Squeeze the cheese.
I love that Taylor pushes his hand away when he puts it on her belly. It's such a great, like, strong moment.
See what's happening here? You're trying to blackmail me.
Hey, hold on now.
I'm gonna ruin my reputation. What do you want? Is it money?
Hey,
Is that it? Is
money,
that what you're
hold
after?
on. You know what? Back up, David. Where do you even get off saying such a thing?
She's been pregnant this entire time. She came to confession last week and she told me.
This was so fun. This was the first time Graham and I got to really stare into each other's eyes.
Yeah, I really loved doing this
Angry.
scene with you.
This was so fun.
I know I gave you my word, but enough's enough. You have to tell him.
Yeah, this is it's an interesting scene in a lot of ways because it's the first time. Well, David like goes right past the aggressor to Lexi and puts it all on her, which is not so sympathetic. And then also it's the first time when Terry switches to, okay, now I'm gonna be violent. He doesn't really go back from that, really, I don't think.
I do not do that, and I've never stepped foot in your shitty church either.
Fine, then I want you out. I want you both out of my house now.
Lexi, don't you fucking move. We're not going anywhere.
Why are you trying to reason with him? He's crazy. Just look at him.
He's not crazy, David. Don't touch me. David, don't touch me, David.
Oh, yeah.
David, I'm warning you. Don't. David, please. Listen to me.
Harry, I want my home back.
Oh, yeah.
We had such great coordination for shooting this. Up until the amount of mint flavored blood that dripped from the back of my nose into my throat.
It paid off.
Oh, it paid off. It looked good there. It looked good there. It was worth it. It was worth it. It was worth it.
Flashbacks.
I just don't understand why we can't just all have
And poor Hannah just being like, hold my hand. And I was like, okay.
I'm sorry, okay?
You know, what I love so much about this movie is that we all keep shifting from being the sane party amongst an insane world. Like right now, you know, Lexi's the one that we're like, what the fuck, you know, and even Terry's starting to sound like a little bit reasonable, and he's like sad, and I'm the crazy one, when just like a scene before it was the complete opposite. It's fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's rare. Like you don't often see that in like a three-hander like this, of these three people shifting protagonist, antagonist. It's very malleable and really interesting.
Especially with keeping a sort of gray area of who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. It's so great, especially because they stay in character. There's no actual break in character, but protagonist and antagonist shift. I love it.
If I do recall correctly, we were like all trying to figure out the blocking of this. And I'm like, what if he's just sitting in that chair? Like it's almost the first time that takes on more of like a villain serial killer type. He's just shows up there.
Yeah,
he's now calculated.
I fully have to give you credit, Jeremy, for really helping sort of like pull this. I mean, it was written one way. You know, this location was like great for certain reasons and kind of like really tough for other reasons. And like this scene and a couple others off the top of my head were the more difficult ones to stage, just with the way that like the room was laid out. But putting you in the chair and shifting the camera the way that we did, I mean, it helped a lot.
Well, it's almost supernatural too. It's like he teleports there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like it's the first time it's like the killer is behind you and he just got there.
Entering that territory.
Right. What's funny is watching this cut. Of course, that's where that cut out because of the way that the movie's building right now. But I remember sitting back down and being like, "What's a good pizza place around here?" Like just like picking up the phone. And I just couldn't fucking help myself.
God sent his only.
It's crazy. This is like the one part of the movie that like when we were shooting it, I was like genuinely scared. Like I just felt like we were doing something incredibly wrong. You know,
well, honestly, so basically, you know, we only had 2 days to shoot everything you see that takes place in the church, and we did everything. And most of the scenes before this are pretty like low key. Like if someone had walked in, they wouldn't have been suspicious. But we shot this. You know, this is the winter, so it's not that late at night, but the sun is definitely down. From what we understand, there's monks and nuns that are cloistered in the building behind us. So I basically told Graham, I was like, hey, you know, we probably only got a couple takes at this. We got to kind of be economic with this because we were all under the idea that we would be kicked out of here at any second, or that someone was going to come in and be like, what the fuck is going on? And Nothing. No one ever came in. I have no idea how they did not hear us during.
Would you want to fucking walk into a room where that shit was?
Well, I mean, but this place. I mean, you'll never be. A movie will never do justice how much sound.
No, yeah, that's what I was gonna
reverberated
say.
in this place.
So I only had a very small part in this scene, so I kept moving from pew to pew, getting different angles, and Graham was fucking like tearing down the earth, and it was so. Like the fact that this is mixed and sound mixed and sound designed, it still cannot do justice to the echo that his performance was just reverberating off of the walls of that church. It was truly like, oh shit.
That's true.
Yeah,
and
it
that's
was
the
an
coolest I've
intense
looked in 9 movies
thing.
right there.
That was an intense moment.
Are his words, and his words will be heard.
And I love that creepy Virgin Mary behind me that was actually there in the church.
Yeah, so those there are just so many great statues that we were like, oh, we got to get extra footage of all this stuff.
Yeah, and the lighting was all practical too. So from the power of his vocal performance to the light, like you were, there was nothing like that wasn't there in that sequence.
I say when this behind the scenes documentary comes out on the Blu-ray, it's a good chunk of it is during the filming of the scene.
This was definitely one of those sequences where you don't think ahead how physically taxing it's going to be. And then by like the third take, you're like, fuck.
Well, there's this shot in the making of where it's Eric Romery's holding the boom mic over you and he goes, all right, hey, Jeremy, can you give me level? And you just scream at the top of your lungs and you go, how's that? And then it cuts away.
I love we're entering that house.
Can that be the tagline for this movie? I snorted mama.
I love
I think the original line was I snort the dead, but the whole like mama motif just made so much more sense as we kind of started just messing with it.
We're about to get to something super fun and fascinating. Graham and I ended up on the same flight, both to Indiana, and we showed up there at the same time, and we were like, hey, let's go for a shot. Like, we started filming early because we were like, hey, we're both here. We're both like super eager to get started. Let's just go for this.
He knocks some sense into me.
And lo and behold,
Yeah, this was,
this is the first thing we filmed.
It's the only scene that's just the two of you, and Jeremy was not on set yet, so we did a lot of takes.
Let's just do it.
It was.
And it's this like pivotal, huge moment. It was a great way to just jump right into it, though.
Yeah.
It's also the first time I was like, all right, well, we're gonna tear the fuck out of this place, so let's tear this bed apart and flip it over and trash this room because we've got more
Taylor,
of that
I
coming.
seem to remember you saying like, "Oh my God, Jeremy's gonna fucking hate that we have to sleep in this disaster area."
Nah, man, I don't care about sleeping nowhere.
He says double bedding.
Sometimes you want, if you have an extra bed, why not use both?
Guide me by your hand.
We got somebody. I think it was Dave
great.
Lawson said that this would make a great Halloween costume.
Yeah, someone posted in a chat that he looks like the character out of Threads, which I have not seen Threads in years.
I like to call it Lazy Mummy.
Jesus. I mean, my first instinct, I think I even wrote in the script that he's just bandaged up like Darkman.
Yeah, that's what it was. It took so long to get those bandages exactly the same every time we applied them.
I've got some great photos on my phone of a lot of the different tests.
This was scary because this door came off the hinges.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this door, when this comes off the hinges, that's for real. That was not intended.
Yeah, we broke
The
it.
sheer force of Jeremy's will pushed
I was
this on
sitting
the
in the
hinges.
other room and I heard a collective 10-person. Oh no.
No
Oh, we had
door
to
can
make-
stop me from choking a priest.
We had to make a late night trip to Walmart to get some hinges, and even then we ended up having to put a sandbag in front of Graham's door so that he could have some privacy for the rest of the shoot because that door would never close the same way again. In addition to having 25 air conditioners stacked in his room.
Oh no, Rigo. Oh god,
25 air conditioners,
Rigo.
40 crosses, and one dead Rigo. They also left Rigo just laying there the rest of the shoot.
Yeah.
Just bloody on my floor.
When he wasn't getting up to put out fires, he just laid there.
Oh, he's dead as fuck. I think really got me. I forgot about that line.
He even brought some big old plate of cookies.
I love you, that you grab a cookie, Taylor.
Oh yeah, no, he's dead as fuck. Yeah, we don't that body.
Still look on
absolutely
Graham's face
unfazed.
right here.
I don't know if he's unfazed. His eyes are quite wide.
No, me. I mean, like
Oh,
Terry.
you, yeah,
Terry's
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
he's dead as fuck.
Graham's having a bad time.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah, no,
sorry.
he's
James
not
having a
doing
bad
well.
time.
I remember like a fucking Escalade pulled up through this alley behind here while we were filming.
Oh yes.
Hey, what
That
y'all
was
doing?
so annoying.
For some reason,
Aw,
I don't feel like that's a rare sight in Fort Wayne.
Oh, this
What, a
is,
dead body in a backyard?
Someone dragging a dead
this
body.
is so sad. Or undead, rather not dead.
Poor Rigo.
Oh, poor Rigo.
Rita, you
never
should talk
let
about
that
how
truck stop.
you should talk about being in a t-shirt out in the snow wrapped in a tarp.
So that's the
Yeah.
fucking moment, by the way. He decided to kill Rigo there.
Mhm.
Yep.
No turning back.
Time to end it all now.
Terry's still living his
He's having
best life.
the best life.
Of course.
Terry's like, tomorrow's Christmas. This is a great day.
Worry about, I took care of everything.
I think Scott. Okay, so Scott Smith and I were laughing. We just were dying in this other commentary that we did. I feel like an alternate ending of this movie would be the three of you laying in bed, feet to feet, like the family in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Please. It's Christmas.
It's so funny to me how calm and happy and kind I am here compared to with how I fucking look. And with the two of you in that bed with her face fucking mangled.
It's so fucked up. This is one of those things, right? If you think about it, okay, so if he had not killed Rigo, like I guess Rigo was the problem, because if not, David could have decided,
You heard
you
it
know
here
what?
first, folks.
David could have said, you know what?
For each of you.
It's so far gone. I might as well enter into a fucking
You can have it
into a
first thing in the
thruple
I believe the
relationship with
term
these
is a
two.
thruple.
A thruple with these two and raise this child and live, because otherwise it's going to be a violent descent into death and madness. And he chose to kill Rigo. So it's all David's fault, is what I'm saying. And God's.
And God's.
You heard it here.
You heard it first.
You heard it here first, folks.
I mean, you wrote it first, but I'm just agreeing.
Oh, I love the Christmas music coming back here.
Yeah, this is a really perfect needle drop.
Because it's been nightmare score.
And this is a direct reference to Home Alone, right?
Oh, you know it.
When he's eating the mac and cheese and he's ready to fuck those bitches up.
Jesus.
So Eric, who's the voice of the child here in the belly?
My wife, Addie.
Now, did you look up-
So I actually, I found someone who lives where I live. He's a professor. He has a PhD in theology. He's credited in the film. He did the Latin translation for me, and then it's
Nice.
Addie had recorded it, and then we sort of Sean Duffy really worked his magic on mixing it up and putting it in the belly.
See, well, I'm showing excellent muscle control of the silicone pregnant belly atop my real stomach.
Yeah, Taylor, you really nailed this right here.
I'm sorry. It was not that hard.
I will.
Man, I wasn't doing nothing.
Okay, so this is where I begin my small rant. So every moment prior to this where someone complained about it being cold, I would like to direct them to this moment. 4 a.m, covered in liquid blood, fake blood, in a nightgown, barefoot, in February in Indiana. I would just like to say that was pretty damn cold.
My only dispute of those facts is it's the winter, so the sun does not come up until about 8 a.m. But
Oh,
so,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Whenever it was,
It was so fucking cold.
And I'd like to say it by this time, I was already back at the hotel, showered and watching baseball on my computer, eating snacks.
Yep. Jeremy and I were definitely back at the hotel. I was
Snuggling
asleep.
cutely.
Yeah, we spooned a little bit.
The time